the last few minutes, both Representative Davids and yourself used arguments like being a practical person, being pragmatic. What's in here with a lot of the numbers that you've put out are not going to be signed by the governor. They're not going to make it through the Senate. So I would have to argue that this budget resolution doesn't reflect a very pragmatic approach to resolving in a timely manner the funding of state government and the other entities that do rely on state resources. You have a couple of items in here that the governor may agree with, but by and large, and that's what the amendments that we had here tonight reflected, was the governor's budget and trying to move you toward some middle ground. But you appear to be geared toward moving ahead with a budget resolution, setting the targets for those committees to set them up for legislation that will, in the end, not be enacted into law. So the other thing is that I was going to point out, Mr. Chairman, you pointed out that you looked forward to working with us. There wasn't a single amendment adopted here tonight. I think it's fair to say you personally argued against each and every amendment that was proposed. And I've been sitting where you are, and I understand the role of the chair in trying to give your caucus some guidance, but I don't think that the direction that you were moving in tonight does, in fact, reflect a willingness to work with us. We were completely shut out. And there were, quite frankly, a couple of amendments here that were so minor in cost relative to the big picture. You could have adopted them for feel-good purposes, if nothing else, and said, by golly, I am working with you. I did adopt an amendment or two. But that didn't even happen. But we had very serious amendments. We were very concerned about the cuts that you're coming forward with, and that the damage that they will do to not only the entities that receive the dollars, but the people of the state of Minnesota. I'm very concerned about the Health and Human Service cut at $1.1 billion and what that's going to mean for people that do rely on our health care system. I'm very concerned about our colleges and universities. The point that was made by Representative Pawlowski very clearly in terms of what the history has been in higher education, with tuition going up. You can't hardly pick up the newspaper these days without reading something about the difficulty students are facing with student debt and how that should be handled. So we're not reflecting investing in our people in this bill. We're not reflecting what we should be investing in K-12 education. Representative Murphy clearly pointed that out. Job development. I mentioned earlier with the bonding bill that we really have right now, to a large degree, two economies in Minnesota. The metropolitan area is just absolutely booming, and greater Minnesota, even though greater Minnesota perhaps is still doing better than many other states because our overall unemployment rate is low and the number of people working has gone up. But we're working toward a level playing field so that greater Minnesota can benefit the same way that the Twin Cities is benefiting. And that was the amendment that was brought forward by Representative Mahoney. I could go back through all of these, but the main point I'm making is that there was no movement toward the middle ground. There was no movement toward providing a situation where many of these bills that your members, your chairs, are going to be working very hard on will in the end become law. It just won't happen. And I think Chair Davids has recognized that with his comments in the tax committee about having a bill that will ultimately be signed into law. And I hope he achieves that. And I hope that perhaps as this session moves forward that you give some thought. These budget resolutions can be amended. I've amended them several times when I was in the chair. And there are some things that you could do as you reflect a bit on what you've done here tonight to position yourself better and your chairs better to getting their bills enacted into law without experiencing the difficulty that you do when you're on a track all by yourself as a body, when you've got the Senate to face and you've got the governor to face and, quite frankly, the people of Minnesota to face. I don't think they're going to buy into this budget. Thank you.
Representative Carlson, I guess let me just say that, first of all, I think everyone here recognizes that no omnibus bill that passes the House, whether it's controlled by the Republicans or the Democrats, or the Senate, whether it's controlled by the Republicans or Democrats, is going to become law in the form that it passes the House or the Senate. There's always a negotiation. There'll be negotiations here. And so I don't think that anyone here believes that we are going forward with the expectation that all the bills that we come forward with are going to pass in the form they leave the House. There will be negotiation. I mean, there will be compromise. There will have to be. We did, as you saw, leave I think, significant amount of unallocated money that can be redeployed to different things if we feel it's necessary. And as we move forward here, I know that in some ways a lot of the work now shifts to the chairs and their committees to put their bills together, and away from the specific work that I've been doing on the budget resolution. But certainly if anyone from the minority party has places that they think they'd like to spend money, or places they think that we can save money, or wants to meet with me and talk to me, I certainly invite you to call Shirley Coderick, Committee Legislative Assistant, set up an appointment, or just catch me on the House floor, and I'm glad to talk to any of the members, and the majority party members too. And so Representative Carlson.
Well, Mr. Chair, I fully recognize I've been on many conference committees, chaired many conference committees, and you do have to bargain and reach compromise, and some of them I've been on have been very contentious. But what I'm concerned about is your beginning point is so far removed from where the Senate is going to come in this week. I'm absolutely convinced they'll have a very different approach. And we clearly know with the governor's budget that you're far removed from anything that the governor is going to be willing to sign. So my point was, you're setting your chairs up really for a situation where they're going to have to basically make some tough decisions that will be needless in the end, because their decisions that they'll have to make with these targets are going to be such that they're going to go into conference committee, and they're not going to be dealing with the reality of the situation as they try to defend, because that's, remember the goal, to defend the House position, and it's not going to be defensible in the eyes of the Senate or the governor, and it's just not going to happen. That's my point.